Hey guys, this is Cyber Saloon. So today we're going to be going over ReZero, episode 8. This episode was very, very well done. I thought the beginning gave us seemingly new insights into certain things, and I thought that the ending was very well done specifically. So we start off where we left off last episode, where Best Boy Otto has saved Subaru from the cell that Garfiel and ReZero had put him in. They go to meet up with Ram, and Subaru is kind of surprised that Ram had helped out. Of course, we aren't, but before he leaves Sanctuary, which Otto and the Ram are trying to get him to do, he needs to go talk to Roswell first. So he goes and asks Roswell, what's up with Beatrice? Like, he asks Roswell, is she part of the witch cult, and is she our enemy? He gets really emotional when he's asking this question because he views Beatrice as a good friend. And of course, Beatrice views him as a good friend as well. And so he obviously doesn't want to be put in a situation to where she is going to be considered an enemy, and he might have to be put in a situation to harm her or to do something that will create more conflict between them. So Roswell says that Beatrice is not part of the witch cult. That the book she was holding was not a gospel. It's a magic book and there's only like 2 copies of it in the world. So I think that this copy has to do with the previous owner of Sloth that Subaru had killed at the end of season 1. So we see from the beginning of season 2 when Beatrice and Subaru talk for the first time, when he tells her all that's been going on, that she has a connection to the previous owner of Sloth, which Subaru now has. So I think that book has to do with that, but Subaru's obviously pretty happy that she isn't part of the witch cult and he isn't going to have to harm her in any way. And then he asks Roswell, like, are you an enemy? And Roswell answers no. So I'm not caught up on the light novels, so I'm not really filled in about what Roswell's intentions really are. The only thing I really know is from Frozen Bond, where he admits that he wants to slay the dragon, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or if that's a bad thing. We've gotten a little bit about what the dragon is, but we haven't really gotten that much insight to like if it would be a good thing or a bad thing to slay the dragon, and the whole story behind it to be even begin with is still a little bit shaky. So Roswell says that he is not an enemy, but I like Roswell, but I think we'll kind of have to see. I still think there's a lot he's not telling Subaru. So Roswell and Subaru conclude the talk, and that Roswell tells him to ask Beatrice a certain question she will ask a certain question and that he has to answer, I am that person, and it will bind her to a contract. So I'm pretty excited to see what that's all about. So I assume it has something to do, again, with the previous owner of Sloth. So we'll see. I'm pretty excited to get to that part, though. And then we see Subaru go out, and Ram and Otto are there, and Ram and Otto are trying to, like, okay, let's get out of here. So, and then Ram, of course, being Ram, gives everyone shit, but she means well, makes fun of Otto and Subaru for only being half a man. So, and that only 2 people can fit on the ground dragon. So Subaru and Otto get on the leave, and Ram says she will stay behind. So right before they leave, Garfield shows up with very murderous intentions. He has a very murderous vibe around him, and he's very pissed that Subaru has gotten out. So Ram basically they try to talk sense into him, but that ends about as well as you expect. Garfield is very pissed, and he's definitely not going to be reasoned with. So Otto and Subaru hightail it out of there to get out of there. And Ram stays behind to fight Garfield because Subaru and Otto would have no chance. Even without his beast configuration, we see that Garfield has exceptional strength and is really strong, so there's obviously nothing that Subaru and Otto would be able to do about it anyway. So they start to hightail it out of there, and we see that Otto has gotten all the villagers to help out by leading the way for them, which isn't too surprising because, you know, the villagers are obviously pretty grateful to Subaru for all the stuff he's done for the village in the first place. So, and then things go to shit. We see that, like, Garfield is this exceptionally just gargantuan beast. He's like this large tiger beast, and he like destroys like a decent part of the forest just even charging over there. And everyone's obviously freaked the hell out. And then Subaru, and we see that Garfield is like, the villagers are like throwing rocks at him, and Garfield is just slaughtering them. Like, it's brutal. And then we see Subaru just like in a state of shock, saying, "Hey," try to talk some sense into him, like, "I'll go back, but you have to leave these people alone." And to the surprise of no one, Garfield tries to kill him. And then we see that Best Boy Otto, again, at it again, jumps in to save Subaru, which he does, but gets cut the fuck in half. So, and then when Subaru gets knocked back and flies out of the barrier, and then we see, I'm not quite sure what this is meant. It came off like a vision, because we see Subaru go through the barrier, and then when he wakes up, he's in Sanctuary, and it's completely abandoned. There's no one anywhere. And then he wanders into a field, and he sees the rabbit from Monty Python. He goes up to it, and the rabbit, to touch the rabbit, and it bites his damn arm off. And then he gets his leg bitten off. And then we see just a massive colony of rabbits, like these demonically possessed rabbits. And they literally eat him alive. Like, it's that scene. The scene itself is pretty brutal. They're just eating his face, his organs, his hands, his feet. And we see the final one come up and start to chew his eyes out. And that whole scene was crazy. I thought that scene was very well done. And I thought it was crazy as shit. And then we get to the ending. So Subaru shows up at Nkinda's little tea party again. And she says that he has passed the second trial. So, which is odd, because I'm kind of wanting to learn more about what the second trial was supposed to even entail in the first place. So Nkinda invites Subaru into her tea party again. And then Subaru starts to ask it like inquisitive questions, like, asking what's been going on. And Subaru kind of starts to notice that she knows like more than she's letting on. So he asked, like, does she know? And she's like, I only know what I know about you. And then it comes out that she knows that he's been returning to death, which is crazy. I thought that was really big. So she's been watching him the whole time throughout his giant suffering arc about him just dying every time and why he's been dying. And Subaru is freaked out. And then we see him have an emotional breakdown. And I love this scene, because Subaru has been brutally murdered numerous times. He has seen shit that you definitely do not want to see. Friends of his brutally butchered in every single way possible. That scene where in season 1 where Archbishop of Beetlejuice just twists Ram's head around multiple times, and that he's seen all this horrible shit, and he can't explain to anyone about what he's been seeing and what's been happening to him, because if he tries to explain it to anyone, he dies, or the person he's trying to tell dies. We saw this when he tried to tell Amelia in season 1, and the curse stopped her heart. So he's been going through all this all alone, not having anyone to talk to it about. I guess it kind of makes sense that Kinda, he can tell her this, because it's in his head technically. Like all of the stuff that's like her little tea party, like this is all going on inside his head. This isn't like a person he's telling. So I guess that's kind of like a loophole that's in the curse. But anyways, he starts having mental breakdowns, just screaming, "I can return the death! I can return the death!" Like just screaming at the top of his lungs. And we see Nkinda's trying to calm him down, and he just starts crying and just screaming at it, like, all this time I haven't been able to tell anyone. And Nkinda, being the best girl on the show, tries to comfort him, like saying, "I know." And like you see at the end, like they kind of have a little moment together where like she like fully understands and feels like a little bit of compassion about all the shit he's been going through. And I really love that scene, because it's really nice to have, for Subaru to have someone to talk to, or have an outlet to talk to about all the just terrible shit he's had to go through throughout season 1 and season 2. So that was the episode. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done. I'm really excited for the next episode. No surprise. I hope in the next episode we get a little bit more about what these trials kind of entail. Maybe Nkinda kind of will talk about like more what there are, what they're supposed to represent, and also what the next trial will be. Also, I'm pretty excited I hope that soon we get more of Beatrice talking to Subaru, because I am pretty intrigued about like what specifically Beatrice is and a little bit more of her backstory. And also hope we get in the next episode we get a little bit more of Amelia too, because while I do think that her trial is what she had to go through in Frozen Pond, I do think that a little bit more of her backstory needs to be explored in the series a little bit. So I'm excited to see that. Well, guys, tell me what you thought of the episode. What do you think is going to happen in the next episode? And I will see you guys in the next episode for more on the Suffering Train. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one.